Time magazine called him the unsung hero behind the internet. CNN called him a father of the internet. President Bill Clinton called him one of the great minds of the information age. He has been voted history's greatest scientist of African descent. He is Philip Emeagwali. He's coming to Trinidad and Tobago to launch the 2008 Kwame Ture lecture series on Sunday, June 8th at the JFK Auditorium, St. Augustine, 5 p.m. The Emancipation Support Committee invites you to come and hear this inspirational mind address the theme, crossing new frontiers to conquer today's challenges. This lecture is one you cannot afford to miss. Admission is free, so be there on Sunday, June 8th, 5 p.m. at the JFK Auditorium, St. Augustine.
Back in 2006, China unveiled its plan to invest $112 billion in scientific research and to do so by 2020. One of the products from that ambitious quest was the world's fastest supercomputer that was made in China. That fastest supercomputer was powered by parallel processing across 10,649,600 commodity off-the-shelf processors. By 2020, China hopes that 60% of its economic growth will arise from its investment in high technology. The uncharted fields of knowledge is the new land to be explored and colonized. That new land is explored the way Mungo Park explored the river Niger of West Africa. The exploration of Mungo Park opened the door for Great Britain to colonize my country of birth, Nigeria. I am the Mungo Park of the supercomputer world that was searching for the fastest computation ever. I was searching for the new supercomputer that computes in parallel instead of in sequence. In the new land of parallel processing supercomputers, you are either a colonizer or the colonized. China intends to become a colonizer in the frontier of science. Africa is still contented with being colonized in the frontier of technology. This is the reason the United States has raised an alarm cry over the alarming resources that China is investing to become a colonizer in the frontier of the supercomputer. The answers to the toughest questions in extreme scale computational physics were not in the physics textbooks of the 1980s and earlier. I discovered the answers to those tough questions and discovered them across a new internet that is a global network of 64 binary thousand commodity off-the-shelf processors, or across a new internet that is a global network of as many identical computers. My supercomputer discoveries were not taught in the classrooms of the 2 decades of the 1970s and 80s. My experimental discovery of massively parallel processing opened the door to a revolution, namely computers and supercomputers that could solve many problems at once or in parallel. Back in the 1980s, both Gene Amdahl of Amdahl's Law fame and Seymour Cray, who pioneered vector processing technology for supercomputers, were the strongest opponents of incorporating parallel processing technology into the modern supercomputer. Seymour Cray is best remembered for ridiculing and rejecting the massively parallel processing supercomputer and for mocking the technology in his famous quote. Seymour Cray joked that, quote, "If you were plowing a field, which would you rather use? 2 strong oxen or 1,024 chickens?" Unquote. In my experimental discovery of the massively parallel processing supercomputer that occurred on the 4th of July of 1989, I used 65,536 chickens instead of 1 strong oxen. I was the strongest proponent of parallel processing. For that reason, I was the lone wolf programmer of the most massively parallel supercomputer ever built as of the 1980s. Seymour Cray designed more vector processing supercomputers than anyone else designed. As the most experienced supercomputer scientist that he was, the supercomputer industry listened to Seymour Cray, not to me, Philip Emeagwali. My experimental discovery of how to solve a million or a billion computation-intensive problems and how to solve them at once or in parallel made the news headlines because I proved that the computer powered by only 1 processor can do whatever the supercomputer powered by 10,649,600 commodity off-the-shelf processors can do if and only if the computer has 30,000 years to compute what the supercomputer computed in only 1 day. For that experimental discovery, it is often said that Gene Amdahl is to sequential processing supercomputers what Seymour Cray is to vector processing supercomputers, and what Philip Emeagwali is to parallel processing supercomputers.
Insightful and brilliant lecture.